shit. You know, like it gives so little information that people will want to know what it's actually about.
Yeah. Is my lighting okay? It's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright.
Chair. Dumbass chair. Alright. Okay. Cool. StreamYard just did an update where I could now stream in higher quality and I could stream to multiple different it like has restream in here now. So I could stream to YouTube, to all this stuff. So I'm gonna start using that.
That's dope. What's the program? StreamYard?
StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Alright, I'm gonna play the intro and then we could start.
Perfect.
Arthaus. This is Arthaus. We got another episode with Asad. He's here to talk about some thoughts he's got. And we're not going to make a distinction between thoughts and thoughts.
What's
for
up,
your mind to describe. Asad, how you doing?
Pretty good. Whoops.
Good.
Let's turn it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. I've had a weird couple of days. But I'm chilling now.
What was weird about those couple of days?
So I decided I'm never touching Adderall again.
Okay.
It was, I don't know. It was it's been a little weird because I've had to kind of adjust a lot of things the last couple of weeks, and then I was I think it was on Thursday or Friday. I made a bunch of calls on like Wednesday on Thursday, like hit up a bunch of people where I was like, yo, I need help with shit. And it was mostly Twitter homies, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And Friday I popped like a half Addy, and I was like, I'm gonna go work and get a bunch of shit done. Non-stop migraines until Sunday night. Like so bad that I'd have to like, I think I was laying down for like an hour or two at a time, and then I'd get up for like 20 minutes and be able to do something. It was great. It was bad.
Terrible.
Yeah. So I haven't been on Twitter because of that. I've been saying I'm taking a break. But yeah, dude, shit was kind of fucking gnarly. So, and I did some research on Adderall, and I don't know why anyone takes it at all ever.
Yeah, isn't it basically just a legal form of like crack?
Yeah, it's one CH3 molecule away from being meth.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, and like that's what it does. It fucks with your adrenal gland, and like I like essentially what it does. It's like a controlled fight or flight response, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's what happened with me. I was sitting there, and I was sitting working on Friday, kind of working through the pain, and my Apple Watch would randomly be like, "Hey, your heart rate is a 150," and you're just sitting there, and I'd be like, "Oh, fuck it, whatever," and it just kept doing it, and I was like, "Okay, what the fuck?" And then I started, and my heart rate it was shooting up to like 140, 150, and I was just sitting around working, which should not ever happen.
No.
So, yeah, it was interesting. It was bad. So
when you started taking Adderall, when was that?
I think the first time I took it was like a year or two ago.
Okay. This is pretty new.
Yeah, but it's like I wasn't. It's like me getting it from my friends. Like I'm self-medicating. I'm not. I should have been on it from the time I was a kid, and I think that would have been better. Like I have horrible ADHD, but my parents are like super anti-pharma, so they were like, "We're just gonna let you get fucked."
See, that mindset is good, but there has to be an alternative. You can't just be like, "Go fuck yourself." There has to be some like, okay, we'll try some tincture or go look at go to this doctor's holistic or whatever. You can't just be like, well, no, if you can't take a drug, you're fucked.
Right. Yeah. And it was like they definitely should have been like more mindful of it and done something about it, but they didn't. Which like I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. It was just I'm sure if I had been on it from a doctor, because they start really, really small. They prescribe like really, really small dosage and jump up from there. But I just jumped to fucking 30 milligrams. So yeah, man, it's wild. My parents, I don't know if I should thank them for that. There was like, what else were they? They were against. They like didn't they like I found out I was dyslexic when I was like 22. I should have known like that. That definitely would have been good to know when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um,
So you just had these issues for a while, and you just
yeah,
you had no way to deal with them.
yeah. So good shit, but I'm glad at least I wasn't hopped up on fucking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So you're not taking them anymore. How's
No.
that gonna? How you gonna have to adapt your scheduling and your mindset towards your business and stuff to so your ADHD doesn't take over? Because I got pretty bad
Yeah.
uh, attention issues too.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna have to like brute force this shit and
Mm.
just figure it out and just kind of keep going until I develop that. Like I have decent discipline right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm just gonna have to put that much more effort into it. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. And I don't know why, but I mean, I've seen this quote a million times, but for some reason it just kind of like clicked or it just hit me different yesterday. And I just kept reading. I think I read this thing like 200 times yesterday, but I think it's a Stoic quote, but it's man conquers the world by conquering himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but like, yeah, seeing it yesterday made me think. It kind of clicked every time. Every time I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, like scrolling Twitter or just wasting time on my phone. It was like this is where I need to get my. I was like, this is it. This is where I have to fight myself on it. And if I can fight myself here and do what I need to do, then I'm going to change the game. So it's probably not a good answer, but I think I'm just gonna just gonna will myself back, like will myself to it
Yeah.
and
Well,
develop that skill.
there's a whole world of obviously supplements and herbs and stuff like that, and that could be really interesting to get into because I actually ordered there's this powder called katuaba, and it's this bark from the Amazon, and it supposedly is really good for mood and focus. So got a powder, and I'm gonna make my own capsules and see if that does anything for when I'm working. And then I've tried things like uh, Cernovich's Gorilla Mind Rush and stuff like that, but that just destroys me.
Really?
Yeah, Gorilla Mind Rush it fucked me up super hard because I took way too many at once, and I just was like, yeah, I was jittery, like had caffeine shakes, like
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything for like 2 days.
Is it a pill or is it a drink?
It's a pill.
Okay.
He's got a Gorilla Mind Rush, which is the one with caffeine, and Smooth without caffeine. Smooth is probably really good because like when the first hour I was on it, it was like this is the best thing ever. I have absolute focus. Everything is flowing perfectly, and then the caffeine hits, and then it's like, oh yeah, I don't take caffeine very well at all, and then I just started suffering for 2 days.
Damn. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like I've been thinking I want to study like monks a little bit and how they do what they do because they don't touch any of this shit and
No.
they have insane focus. Like you can't break their focus. Um, so I think I'm like moving away from I don't even take any. Only supplement I take is that whey protein right there. I don't take anything else.
I thought that was whey protein. I was like,
Yeah,
what is that big bag? It's either fertilizer or whey protein. And if it's fertilizer, I got questions.
yeah. But yeah, I was like, that's kind of what I've been thinking about, and I've been I don't like I haven't touched. I mean, I have taken them, but I have greatly reduced the amount of time or the frequency of me using painkillers. I don't like how they work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I asked my mom how they worked probably 10, 11 years ago, and she's like, oh, they just numb the pain receptors. She's like, they don't actually do anything about the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that sounds fucking terrible. I was like, that's a terrible idea. She's like, yeah, it's not that great. I was like, okay, well, I'm not touching those anymore unless I absolutely, like, if I really need some relief, cool. But yeah, I mean, just kind of going like all natural kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it is. It is definitely better. And
Yeah.
another thing that you were touching on, and that the monks themselves don't really fuck with, is social media and the dopamine rush, because that's a drug. Like our
Yeah.
phones are drugs, and every time we get some engagement, that messes up our brain chemistry.
Yeah, yeah, it's been nice. Like, not. I mean, I'm at a point now when I haven't tweeted in like 4 days, and I think I've logged on like twice. I think I'm gonna switch to Hype Fury and just tweet through Hype Fury because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to. And like, have you read the 4 Hour Work Week?
I have the book. I skimmed through it.
Okay,
I
so
haven't, I haven't read it.
I think it's super outdated at this point, but there's some good organizational tips in there. And I
that
remember like, what
That's
was
why I
that?
stopped reading it. I was like,
Yeah,
this is for like 2008
yeah.
internet. Like, what is this?
Super super old.
Yeah,
He was the original Hustle Twitter.
yeah.
But there was a really interesting organizational like it's I don't know why this stuck with me, but he said that he was like the one of the first things in the book. He's like set up an email responder. So anytime somebody emails you, it just shoots back. It's like, hey, I'll check email at 11 and 5 p.m. If it's really urgent, you can call me. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have my number, it's not urgent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think I'm gonna apply that approach to social media, where it's like just hype fury everything, and then 30 minutes, 2 points, like 2 different times a day. Uh, Hop on, reply to anybody if I need to, check DMs, and then just like don't, because otherwise it's just become I don't know how much time gets wasted on that thing. And the constant just dopamine. So I think
See,
retraining my brain.
I'm waiting for someone just to make a Twitter DM app that's separate, because half the time I don't want to go on the TL. I just want to go on my group chat and then go in and message some people that I need to message, or give them some links or whatever. I don't I don't want to start scrolling and get caught in and all the shit.
Yeah, yeah, dude. The number of times I don't know. I think I was looking at something the other day. I wanted to go. Oh, I had a DM with Alexander.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go grab. He sent me a video. He was like, go watch this and do this. So I was like, cool. I was going to Twitter to do that, and 20 minutes go by, and I hadn't done it. And then I forgot why. I forgot why I originally went on Twitter, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? So I turned it off. And then like 3 hours later, I remembered that's why I went on originally.
That happens to
Um,
me, yeah.
yeah, and I had to like laser focus like Twitter. I was like, go to the DM, go get it, and then turn it off. So yeah, fuck all that.
And it's wild how you have to do that. You have to
Yeah,
actually, like, all right, I'm gonna break down in my brain how to get from one part of the app to the other, and you realize, like, what am I doing? I should just
yeah,
do this. Like,
yeah.
this is not well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like everything else. Like I like that quote, like man conquers the world by conquering himself. I've been kind of thinking. That's what I've been reminding myself of. I'm like, what does it mean to conquer myself in this moment? Like, what does it mean? It means get the fuck off my phone and go do my work. It means like if I go in to look at something, I go look at that and then I turn it off. But it's weird. It's like I think I've actually been listening to like a bunch of Arthaus
Mm-hmm.
cast, and I was listening to the one with Tej last night, and I think Ted's kind of hit it perfectly, where he was just it's just like the meditation thing where he's like, dude, I have an endless to-do list. Why the fuck would I meditate? Um, but he's like, it actually helps. Like it quiets the monkey brain, and then you're able to just like focus. So working on that.
Now I know are you a practicing Muslim?
I guess so.
Okay. Do you like? Because I know that because I'm basically Christian,
Yeah,
so I always find it interesting, the difference between meditation and prayer
yeah.
that's brought up. Do you have prayer time, or do you mostly just meditate?
I do have I do have prayer time. Um, I've been meaning to get back into it. Like, hold on, my hair looks fucking ridiculous. I look like a fucking crazy person. Um, damn it. Oh, fuck it, whatever. Actually, it's so bad.
Nah, dude, keep it long and keep that beard thick. You're looking dank.
Right? Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. it's almost like my dad's beard is like out to here. I didn't even realize it. My shit's almost as long as my dad's. My dad's like 2 or 3 inches out here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it. But yeah. So we have like 5 different times of the day where we're supposed to pray, and I actually like my life is just noticeably better when I'm praying. Like across the board, it's just like a net positive.
Yeah.
But I haven't been praying. It's been bad. I haven't been praying for I think like since like February. It's terrible. So I've been meaning to get back on it, but it was kind of tough because it's a little bit more structured. I mean, you can pray whenever, but it's like those specific prayers you're supposed to do at a certain time. So I've been meaning to like start waking up early again and start doing that. But yeah, it definitely feels good. It kind of quiets it like it just stops like the rush of everything, and it's like you just shut up and pray right now. So yeah, I think it's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah. I find personally that, like, since prayer is kind of like a discourse, you're kind of like talking to God, right? You have sort of it's more of a back and forth, like, constant mental, it's a bit more active than meditation. I find meditation really useful, mostly just for its physiological response. When I just sit there for 10 minutes, do absolutely nothing, think about nothing, and just relax, I just feel so much, less stressed, less tight, calmer, and then I'm able to just go and sit back down and do stuff. But I don't really
Yeah,
have that. You don't really have, to me at least, I don't really have that. Like you said, every part of my life is better when I'm praying. I don't really get that with meditation. Although
right.
the immediate physical response, I think, is more acute with meditation.
Yeah, I think meditation is kind of like I think prayer and meditation. I see them as they're kind of in the same vein,
Mm-hmm.
but meditation is more something for like your physical body,
Mm-hmm.
and I think prayer is more for like your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like spirit's the most important. Like if you take care of your spirit, everything else is going to fall in line too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but not to say that like meditation isn't. I think that meditation serves a purpose outside of because sometimes there's been times in the past where I've prayed. I've been like anxious or physically feeling some type of way, and I prayed and it didn't help me physically. Didn't really put me at ease.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like meditation like almost always does. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think they each have their um, own benefits.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy how like, that's free. Like you could be dead broke poor, but if you could just like sit there quietly by yourself, like that's you have insane power from that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, but that's true. Yeah, no one charges us to meditate or pray.
That'd be really bad if they did.
Yeah, that's
We're
probably
gonna have
like that's one of
Jeff
those.
Bezos is coming.
You got to pay a Trump tax every time you want to pray.
Yeah.
There, who was I? I just remembered something that was really interesting. I don't remember what it was. Never mind.
It'll
It was
come
something
back.
else with Thots, yeah.
It'll come back. Oh, hold up. This guy has a question. Keith Benson says, "Have you read McMindfulness?" I don't. I don't know what that
Make
is.
mindfulness
What is that, Keith? Enlighten us, please. I have no idea what that is.
sounds funny. It's like Ronald McDonald's mindfulness. I have not read that. I didn't know you could have people. Oh, it's from Periscope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. No, I haven't read that book. I'm gonna look it up though. Just save
Yeah.
it, see what happens.
Yeah, he says, give me a couple minutes. Okay, we'll just look it up, Keith. We'll just look it up. It'll be fast.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Lively, razor sharp critique of mindfulness, as it has been enthusiastically co opted by corporations, public schools, and the U.S. military, has 3.7 out of 5 on Goodreads.
Make mindfulness. Yeah, well, basically, like, there is I'll just take from the title because I'm not gonna go look this up and try to do research mid-cast, but
Uh,
just taken from the title, it seems like the corporatization of that aspect of life, and
yeah.
you've probably gone. You're in LA, right? You've probably gone into a spiritual shop, right, which is supposed to
Oh
bring you
yeah.
enlightenment or whatever, but it's enlightenment through $49.99 books and
Yeah.
these crystals and this stuff, and like these will give you these products will give you enlightenment. It's like, yeah, no,
Yeah. Uh,
no.
Going to like an apothecary. I feel like I've been to an apothecary shop and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's like you're in the like, all right, man, your rent's $15,000. I already know that in this shop, so you know. But I mean, actually, what's funny about that is like I have so many like the amount of time everything I do in music and festivals and stuff. Like, do you know what a wook is?
No, I don't.
So wooks are they're usually really nice. They're almost always really nice, but it's like they have kind of a negative. Like they're like I don't know how to describe a wook. A wook's like somebody who doesn't shower, doesn't they're not very clean. They just like they're always at a festival. You never know how they got there, how they like whatever. It's like they know somebody. They don't ever have their own supplies, and they're always usually really nice people, but they're just like not functioning members of society. At least like when you see them at a festival, you're like, there's no way this guy's a functioning member of society. Um, so the funny thing about wooks is they are always like very spiritual, and I think that's how it like started. They're kind of like
Hmm.
hippies, but I think that's how it started with like getting into the world of like getting into festivals and all that because um, they just don't like they talk about all this they talk about like they kind of sound similar to like what we sound like on Twitter,
Hmm.
but like they talk about energy and like meditation, spirituality, and like they're burning sage all the fucking time, and they're just all this shit. They're like so like hoo ha and all that, and it's funny
So they're
because
money Twitter gurus for energy.
yeah, but like we're not broke, dude. Like they're all broke.
Yeah.
Like they're broke and dirty and whatever. They're probably way nicer than they are. But anyway, the whole thing is like it's like everybody I know in the festival scene and like has to talk about some level of like mindfulness and spirituality and some shit. And I'm like, your lives all fucking suck. Like not from like a judging standpoint. I'm like, you're
Objectively.
objectively like you called me the other night really upset because things aren't going well and it's been like this for 3 years, so I'm like clearly this mindfulness isn't doing anything for you, and it's probably because you're just scratching the surface, just
You
like
see
every
that a lot with girls on Instagram, right? Where
yeah
they'll be like, "I'm becoming my best self," and you're like, "Dude, you were the worst person like for the past 3 years.
yeah
Like you are the direct opposite of an angel in every single way, and you're going out like, I am becoming my best self, and every single day I'm working toward." It's like,
yeah
stop,
yeah
stop.
they're so like it's funny too because it's like they just don't like that's a good I kind of want to read this book now. It's this like watered down
Yeah.
bullshit mindfulness or whatever, and it's just like because it's just in the ether now. It's just something that's cool to say. It's like you know what it is. 10 years ago, it became cool to be a nerd, right? It became
Hmm.
cool to play video games and be a nerd and to be into like programming and software development. And so every fucking asshole who was a bully was like, "No, I'm a nerd," and it's like all these hot girls are like, "I'm a nerd." It's like you're not a fucking nerd. Shut the fuck up. Like you're just saying that now.
It's just a social trend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like high school ended, and you realize nobody gives a shit about you, and so you want to be relevant, and now you're gonna say all this crap. Like it was in
Yeah.
everyone's Instagram bios and all this kind of. So it's like that's what this is now, where it's like, oh, I'm just spiritual and blah blah blah. Like you know,
Yeah.
it's
Looking. Yeah. It makes you seem deeper than you are, but really you don't know you don't have any basis in philosophy. You don't have any spiritual connection to God at all. You're not making progress in your own life. You just like reading like headline. You're basically it's like reading headlines and news. That's all you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah,
You're just getting the
Yeah.
buzzwords, and you're like, that is so me. Oh my god, that is me.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like yeah. I think it's like yeah, you claim to be spiritual, but you're still kind of a cunt to the waiter. So I know that you're not. Like that's the simplest way for me to put it.
And you really just can tell, like, you've probably been around people that, they really have their life together. They're really, they're in not just the spiritual, but in the physical and in everything, right? And you could just tell, like, how they carry themselves, how people interact around them, the energy that they have with them. It's so much better. It's real. It's positive. It's not forced. And then
Yeah,
the people that are going around all the time being like, "I'm so positive. Everything is beautiful. Mindfulness." Blah, blah. It's like you just don't want to be around them.
yeah, yeah. You can pick up on it, and like people who I know some people who are like that. They're just always like trying to bullshit positive energy, and then you can pick up on it. It's very weird. It's very uncomfortable, and then on top of that, you can see that they are. It's like when they try to call it out on other people, and they're like, "So and so is really negative." It's like, no, that person's fine. I think you just look at everything to a negative lens because like you
Yeah.
bullshit this positivity, but your life is actually very much in the crap.
Yeah.
You know, in the shitter.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And that's somebody brought up this point yesterday. So I just released an app called Subself, and it's basically you can create your own subliminal tracks, whatever. And someone said, like, someone actually commented, this is you what you don't want to do is have a really shitty life and then put all these amazing affirmations in and not want to work towards your and actually fixing your shitty life. Like, the affirmations themselves aren't going to do anything, and I even theorize that if you work on affirmations, like you do them if you're diligent with affirmations but you don't do anything else with the rest of your life, that could probably be worse, because you're like splitting your mind in a sense. You're telling yourself
Yeah,
everything is beautiful. I am manifesting success. Blah blah blah, and then you're still like, committing crimes, living in a trashy studio with three other people. Like, haven't showered in 3 days. Whatever failings you are, you're not trying to alter them. And I think I could just split your mind in half.
yeah,
Really nasty.
yeah. I'm sure it cause like some massive like the cognitive dissonance would probably destroy you.
Have you seen? I know music festivals can get crazy with, like, the psychedelics and the music, and people just aren't ready for the combinations of all the different sensory stimuli. Have you seen people just lose their minds at
Oh
at
yeah,
festivals?
all the time. I you see it happen like with people who will try stuff for the first time, and like people think like I think I it might be. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory, but I think part of the reason that like people call like I think the term party drug was like started being used to classify psychedelics and other types of drugs to make them seem like that's all they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much more to them, and it's like, well, if you call it a
Mm-hmm.
party drug, it's like you just take this to get fucked up. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's people who like overdo shit or they don't understand what they're like putting themselves into, and then they will like. I've had friends who just became non-responsive. Like they looked like they were like a vegetable. They were just sitting there, like literally just sitting there, would like make eye contact with us, and would still respond to their name, but like couldn't speak,
Mm-hmm.
which was really weird. I've seen people just like spazzing out, having seizures, people just like falling down and not being able to move, people like crying their eyes, like people having mental breakdowns. And
Mm-hmm.
I think like there's so much else that goes into it, but a lot of it is too like you put your brain like you just like a normal person, then you put your brain on overdrive with acid or shrooms, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like the like visual, auditory, um, stimulation, the physical, like the like um, physical vibrations that you're feeling. Like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're liable to just fucking lose your mind for a couple hours, not in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people that they've taken too much at once, and they just have permanent damage now. They just
Oh
weren't
really?
they weren't respectful of they weren't respectful of whatever they were taking. They weren't, they were taking it in a bad setting. They took too much, just to fulfill the ego. Like, oh yeah, I can take this much,
Yeah.
watch me. And, like, I heard about one guy. I talked to him at the gym like 2 years later, and he just was like dead. Just dead. He was just saying words, but he was
Yeah.
dead inside, and it was so weird.
Yeah. There was a buddy of mine in high school used to roll. Like he used to roll in high school
Yeah.
constantly, and it was so bad. Like he got really. It would. I didn't know this, but he would be really annoying because he'd be like making suicidal jokes all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, dude, it was like, all right, come on, like shut up. This is just like you're just seeking attention now.
Yeah.
And it was really really annoying. And then like what I found out later was he had been rolling constantly, one summer, and he was doing it to kind of escape like shitty situations at home. But basically, he did it so much that his body stopped producing serotonin.
Oh, jeez.
So he was just constantly in the shit, and like it was bad for a while. Like it was legitimately bad. Like we need to keep an eye on. Like he was under constant watch for probably a year and a half. And he's like, I think by the time he was like 23, he kind of started to like normalize, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's like his brain did eventually recover. But yeah, there's certain people like I know some. I don't personally know the person, but somebody heard about somebody taking like research chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
and they totally lost their sense of smell, which is like,
Yeah.
which is yeah, it's like so it's also a matter of like doing your due diligence and not being a fucking idiot. Because some people
Yeah.
are like, oh, let me
This
just take whatever the fuck. It's like you fucking idiot, dude.
it's all compounds, man. We're just monkeys, bro.
Yeah,
Just experimenting in this highway of life, man. Takes it once. Entire
yeah.
life just fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, I told my when I found out my little brothers were getting into it, I told both of them. I was like, look, if you need shit, just fucking tell me beforehand. I'll get it for you. I was like, if you're gonna do it, I'd rather be the one. Like, let me get it, and I was like, I'll mail it up to you.
Yeah.
Um,
So you know it's legit, and you know it's like.
yeah, because like they were doing like one of them was doing like he's like, oh, I tried fucking 2CB, which is a research chemical, and I was like, stop, like you're like acid, like I'm like acid was manufactured by some very 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 smart people, very fucking intelligent people.
Yeah.
Government spent a lot of money developing that shit. So those recipes that have, and I was like, the people coming up with these research chemicals are like bedroom physics who don't know, or chemists who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I was like,
Yeah.
they could put some shit in there that's gonna totally fuck you up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta get yourself into.
Yeah. And I mean I'm not a historian on this, but the only reason we know acid works is because didn't that guy get like accidentally got some on him before he was going back home, and then he was like biking back to his house or whatever, and then he started tripping
Oh,
out.
bicycle day.
Yeah.
He didn't no like I don't think he like he didn't accidentally get it on himself. He took it. Um,
Oh.
yeah, that's what like it's called bicycle. Like he took like a stupid amount. But he was fine, and he was just like, I mean, he'd done it so much, and he was just like riding his bike around. But I don't know that like honestly, this sounds fucked up. I would not be surprised if the original, because like we think it was developed here in the U.S. I would have no, I would not be surprised if it was developed by the Nazis,
Probably.
and then like we stole it, or like I mean, all the Nazi doctors came here, so
Yeah. Yeah. The entire the CIA. It is unbelievable for people that don't know how much of the Nazi transplants, at least like the high level, like the scientists and the those people, they just came over and directly got implanted in the government, and no issues.
yeah, like head of NASA, head of the CIA,
Yeah, just no issues.
yeah, because they were. I mean, like everything hit like it's. I don't. You always have to be careful how you say it. I'm not I don't like Hitler.
Yeah,
Like I'm not a fan of Hitler, but he was so obsessed with so many weird things, and he made so like I think the progress that he made and like the progress the Nazis made in some things, it's like this is fucking crazy. Like, dude, like you've seen the Panzer tanks,
yeah,
right? Like or like they made the first fighter jet. Like the Nazis were just like they made the first ballistic missile. Like they made the
yeah,
first targeted missile. Like it's like what the fuck
yeah.
were they doing?
And to me, like one small nation with that's landlocked, that doesn't have that many people, that in the middle of a war gets all these amazing inventions made. Like there's probably some help from either some extraterrestrial, extra
Yeah.
dimensional, demonic, whatever you want to call it. Probably some extra non-human help going on right there that they were talking to. I mean, we all know that there's a lot of them were occultists and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, and there's definitely an intertwining between the occult and extra dimensional, extraterrestrial, all that stuff. So, we may never know, but it is
Yeah.
interesting.
You know what a Gartha is?
What's up, Oliver? Yes, I do.
Oh, what's up, Oliver? I was just like, I just found out about it recently, but there was some thread on Twitter I was reading, and they said like, um, so you know how like there's Nazi fortresses on the poles,
Yeah,
North Pole.
yeah,
Like I knew about that. But I was like, that's fucking weird. I was like, maybe it's just Hitler just had some, but it's like Hitler was obsessed with the poles. It wasn't just like, hey, I have a fucking portrait. It was like some weird thing. So apparently there's one like this. This actually makes me like this has me almost sold on Agartha being real. But one of them was that like they're supposed to be very advanced, and one theory is uh, Hitler traded traded some shit for them to them for weapons.
hmm
Um, and I was like that would not. I was like what the fuck else is the explanation for it?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe not, but it's like he also was constantly in the North Pole. He was obsessed with the poles of the earth. Like there's a giant Nazi fortress up there. So
Well, and the whole poll situation. The fact that they there's so much disinformation, misinformation about Antarctica. And what really goes on there. Structure. They don't want us to know. They just instantly, you know, decry you as a conspiracy theorist for asking questions.
yeah,
That right there is a giant red flag that they are not telling you everything.
yeah, exactly, yeah. This like Shamin, right?
Yeah.
Shamin posted a thread a while ago, but he was talking about like the term conspiracy theorist and where it came from, and he said it was developed by the CIA I think in the 60s or 70s to
Yeah.
basically just discredit.
After the Warren Commission, when people were saying
Yeah.
that Kennedy wasn't killed by Oswald, people were like, "No, that's BS."
Right. Yeah. They were like there was this constant. It was just like, well, how do you discredit? It's like the thing they were saying about Kanye. It's like how do you silence a man? You just say he's crazy,
hmm
and it's like Kanye plays into that, but it's like and that's what they're doing, and that's so it's like it's like just come up with this term, then everybody like thinks it's whatever, and it's like, was it like last month in July? The Pentagon confirmed that there was there's an airship, and they confirmed they're like, yeah, this is made this is made from like outer Earth materials. You
Yeah.
see that?
I remember the video footage.
Yeah. Apparently there was. I'll see if I can find it again, unless I'm getting it mixed up. But apparently the Pentagon confirmed that they found an airship that they're like, yeah, this is made out of like this is not Earth, like this is outer Earth material and engineering. And they're like, yeah, like, and nobody fucking cares. Like like, because it's like we're in the middle of COVID too, but it's like nobody reacted to it. Everyone was like going crazy on the internet for a little bit, and then it's like I'm like, dude, they just confirmed something not human built this thing.
I mean, yeah, it just shows like they want to keep us into these, dumbass divide and conquer narratives, where we're fighting amongst ourselves and we're not just unified together. Obviously we're always gonna have issues. That's not gonna go away. But where we're gonna be like, hey guys, look at aliens maybe. And we all go, huh, maybe we should look into this more. Maybe we should unify behind this and hey, like why don't we fix this country and then we can go to the stars, check out Antarctica, like all these things that were we could like you just said earlier, like before you conquer the world, you need to conquer yourself, right?
Yeah.
Well, as a country, we need to conquer our country again. We need to get back,
Yeah.
make this a place where we can all be together towards the same shared goal, and then go find those things. The real questions, the real secrets that we
Yeah.
have.
It's I don't know. It's weird, dude. I was just thinking like growing up. It's funny because like growing up as a kid, you hear about how cold the Arctic. It's like Antarctica is so cold, so cold. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's so cold, and everybody just believes it, right?
Mhm.
Like everybody believes it now. It's common knowledge. But I'm like, what if they just say that from the time we're kids? We would believe it. We would never question it. But it's like, what if it's not that fucking cold up there? Like, what if it's not so cold that you can't like walk, like actually go do shit?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. There's so much shit. Like, you know who Bob Lazar is?
Yeah, the UFO guy.
Yeah, I mean he was apparently when he was the reason people know about Area 51. But apparently, like there was, I think it was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He said that there was early in his career, he found like a ship or some shit in Area 51, and he said that it was like, he said it wasn't modular, like it wasn't put together. It looked like it had been printed. It was all one piece, which is like what the. It's like we're and like this was like the '60s. Yeah. We're getting into 3D printing now, and this guy's talking about seeing this like that. I don't know if you've seen it. That one's really interesting. But he said there was like a force field, like he couldn't touch the ship. He kept every time he got close, something pushed his hand back. Some invisible force pushed his hand back. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, all that's to say, shit's
we don't know anything. That's basically
people.
We don't know anything, and we get mad because we think we know everything. And then other people are reacting in ways that we don't want, blah, 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 war, violence, death, suffering, anger, division. But instead you can just not care, which is what I've been doing a lot lately, and it's just been so good.
That's probably the best way to do it. I like to I don't worry about, when I was younger, my older brother got really into conspiracy theories. Now I'm calling them conspiracy theories. He I think this was like 2007. He was into this whole back then he was reading about like this elite occult, like all the elites are occultists and they do crazy shit, and they have the whole world in their power and blah blah blah. And I was like, at the time it would freak me out, and I was like, He would tell me about it. And I was like, I don't want to hear about it because I would be like, well, it was very a hopeless, defeated. I would feel defeated. Because I'm like, what's the point of doing anything if they're in charge of everything? And it was something about all of them being Satanists, which ended up being true. But now I'm at a point where I'll read stuff that's interesting, like this Agartha thing. I'm gonna deep dive into Agartha just because it's really interesting. But now it's I don't really care about all that kind of shit. Where I'm not it doesn't affect me, it doesn't bother me because it's I have faith in myself and what I can do, and it's worst comes it's also not on me to go and flip what I'm not worried about changing all that shit. You know what I mean? It's I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a positive impact on people's lives, hopefully. And
I think of conspiracy theories as modern myths. Honestly, it's the closest thing we have to a myth today.
Yeah.
Because we're it gives you some it's a bit interesting. Usually there's some interesting story behind it where the guy he went into the hangar and there's the UFO and it did this, and it's like a folk tale. Oh, what if that's cool. Oh, what if they do
right.
That? Oh, but then you go outside and you realize that nothing you just read is, nothing in your world is affected by that right now.
Right. Exactly.
You have a call in 5 minutes. You got your thing's in the oven. When you get out of that, you can't live. I mean, maybe if you're just super rich and you could just devote all your life to reading about it, and that's one thing. But 99.99% of us, it's not useful other than just folk tales and having some interesting things to think about.
Yeah, the guy that about the city of Troy. So the Epic of Troy, right? It was so up until the mid 19th century. Everybody thought Troy was a fake, it wasn't a real city. It was a folk tale. But there was this guy who was crazy upset. It was just a story. There was this French dude who was super, super obsessed with the story since he was a kid. Basically came from a rich-ass family. And he was so obsessed and convinced that Troy was a real city that he just kept, he started studying everything. And then started, always, all these expeditions to try to find it. And then I think in the late 19th century, he fucking found the wall, the ruins of the wall. And then they unearthed the whole thing when they found out that Troy was this is where Troy was. Found Agamemnon's, I think it was Agamemnon. Remember the guy? I don't know, whatever the fuck. But they found their helmets and their fucking face masks and all this other shit and whatever. And it's cool, that's dope. So before then, this guy just discovered an ancient city that everyone thought wasn't real, but it's also because he was rich out of his ass and spent all this time, spent 40 years.
So the moral is to be really rich and get really focused onto one super autistic goal and then go and attack that goal, and then eventually you'll discover something.
Yeah, pretty much. Who knows what could happen if you do that? Well,
onwards to 10 million, Asad. We will get there, and you'll. I expect you in like 10 years to just get a boat and just be like, I'm going to Agartha. And you just plow straight ahead. You
Yeah.
hire like a private military corporation so government can't do anything to you. You just go in there, onward.
Yeah, I'm gonna hire Blackwater. I'll just stay down in Agartha. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll come back and tell you guys about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'll probably show up. They'll be like, "You're from Money Twitter? Get the fuck out of here!" Oh my
Jeez.
god,
What if somebody from Agartha is on Money Twitter right now?
dude! What?
You know, like maybe one of those Anon accounts that are like really good. You know, they know a lot of stuff, but we
Yeah.
never see their face. Maybe there's in Agartha.
He probably like showed up and he was like just having fun, and then he found Money Twitter and he's like, "Oh look, all these other Anons are also 6'5" and 200, like they're jacked." He's like, "I could just fit right in." He was like, "This is perfect. No one's gonna think anything of me."
Oh, look at an entire society of people who are 6'5", $100 million net worth,
12% body fat.
amazing Aryan men with 10 women harems. This is perfect.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, and then he's like, probably feels like talks to him for a little bit. He's like, "God, you guys are fucking idiots."
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, this is nothing. I'm going back.
Yeah. He's like, "I'm never fucking coming up here again."
Stupid Upper Earth.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Trying to make a sustainable 10K a month online income. This kid's gonna be
That's funny.
Alright, man. Well, you said, yeah, you're probably late. I probably made you late. Right?
I think I'm chilling. I got as long as I'm out of here in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, this has been Our House of the Sod. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we log off of this very rambly, not focused cast?
No, this was fun, man. I'm glad got to hop on one last time before you go handle your shit.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
good times.
It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be gross. It's gonna be really not nice smelling, but it'll have to be done.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. No, I think that's pretty much it. Everyone should go download Subself. Get on that shit.
Cool. Thanks for that. Yeah. Download Subself. Subscribe to Our House. Donate. Do your thing. Love you guys. Peace out.